Excuse me? Hey, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
What are you doing?
I'm taking a squeeze. What do you think I'm doing?
Well, this is a radio studio.
Well, it's the men's room.
This is not the men's room.
Sure it is.
This is not a men's room.
Well, you're doing what I think you're doing.
No,
right?
I'm on the radio.
No, you're not. You're popping a squat, aren't you?
Stop. No.
What?
I'm on a chair in front of a radio console.
Well, I'm sorry. I thought it was one of those European toilets or something, where you sit down and there's, I don't know.
I've never, with a mixing board in front of it.
I didn't see the mixing board. I see you have headphones on. I figured it was one of those, you know how you, like nowadays you can watch TV while you do it, while you drop something.
Stop. I've never heard of that.
Well.
Stop it.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Well, don't do it.
No.
No, it's not.
You don't want me to do it anymore?
I don't want you to. Do not use this room as
I'm sorry. I'm upstairs playing with my band. We're doing a session.
You're doing a session upstairs?
Yeah.
And what are you? You're looking for the men's room?
Well, I figured this was the men's room. Yeah, yeah.
No, it's down the hall.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. FMU, pretty cool.
Yeah, this is WFMU.
Yeah, the session's going great. We're doing it for this guy Terry T. Yeah.
Well, it's not a guy.
Oh.
It's Terry T is a.
He's not actually up there. We're just doing it with some engineer, but.
No, Terry T's a woman.
Well, he's supposed to be cool. He gives all the bands coke, from what we hear.
Well, that's definitely not true.
That's what I heard.
Well, that you heard wrong.
Well, I can't wait to tell the president that I was here. It's awesome. All right. Well, I'll catch you later.
Hold on a second. Could you? Hey.
Excuse me?
Could you come back in for a second?
Well, you're.
Yeah, I just what was that you just said though?
I said that I heard that Terry T gives all the bands coke.
No. Well, that's not true.
Okay.
First of all.
Okay.
But you said something about the president.
Yeah, I said that I can't wait to tell him that I was here.
The president of what?
Of the United States. Why?
Yeah, well, you're friends with the president of the United States?
Yeah. Look, I should go.
No, please. This is
great to meet you.
No, come back in, please. Please, can you take a seat?
Should I sit right here?
Yeah.
Should I put these on?
Yeah.
So what's your question?
What is the deal with you and the president?
Oh, well, you know, he's a friend actually. And he's a big FMU fan, actually.
The president of the United States.
Yeah, he listens late at night, actually.
Really?
Yeah, he loves this show. What's it called? Night People.
Really?
Yeah.
It's on Wednesday night.
Yeah, these guys. Oh man, he's always talking about them. Andy and Dave.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. He said that they had some nude model in the studio or something. He loved it. I really should go. I'll
Wait, no. Wait, Barack Obama.
Yeah.
That's who we're talking about here.
Yeah.
He listens to this station.
Oh yeah. On the web, I guess. Yeah.
And do you mind me asking how you know the president? Because I mean, like, no offense, but you know he's the president, and you kind of look like a band guy. You know, like a guy in a band.
Well, I am a band guy.
Yeah, but the president, that's not exactly what I would not assume the president would be hanging out with band guys.
Well, okay. Well, here I probably shouldn't be telling you this. Mm-hmm. Okay. You know, I got the band that I'm playing drums in upstairs, the Functions.
Sure.
We're from DC. Kind of garagey kind of thing.
Okay.
You know, and I play in another band also.
What is that?
Well, it's a band with Buzz. I'm sorry, President Obama. It's so easy to slip back into rehearsal room. You know.
What did you call him?
Buzz.
Buzz.
Yeah, that's what we call him.
Barack Obama. You call Barack Obama Buzz.
Yeah.
And what are you? You're in a band?
Well, I play drums with him. Yeah, in a band.
With Barack.
Yeah. He plays guitar.
In a band.
Oh yeah. Tramp Stamp.
He's He's in a band called Tramp.
It's his band. Yeah, it's his band.
He's in a band called Tramp Stamp.
Oh yeah.
I've never heard of this.
Of course you haven't. He actually came up with the name.
Tramp Stamp.
Yeah, yeah. We rehearsed like 3 nights a week
Where?
in the White House, in kind of the bowels of the White House.
This rock group.
Yeah,
does.
yeah. He's not many people know this. He puts off this vibe of being kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
He's really funny.
Really?
Yeah, it's funny at practice. We'll have these Clifford breaks.
Mm-hmm.
That's his favorite movie, Clifford. Have you seen this film?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's his favorite thing, and he'll like recite lines from it and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, he's hilarious, and he also loves those Albert Brooks movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like which ones?
Well, he loves Modern Romance,
Mm-hmm.
Lost in America. His favorite though is Real Life.
Real, yeah.
And it's so funny. Like if he's had a bad day in the Oval Office, and we're practicing that night,
Yeah.
he'll crack a brew and he'll joke that God, this is just too much for me being president. I'm tired of it, and he'll do that line from the movie where that's basically he really wanted to be a scientist, and he would be if he'd studied harder and been graded more fairly.
Like
It's a pretty obscure
Yeah,
line from the
yeah,
movie. Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any other like he just says stuff like that?
Well, I don't remember this whole line, but it's about the egg to human ratio, that line that's in that film. It's really weird. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
That's-
He's an awesome guitar player though.
He plays guitar in
Tramp Stamp.
Tramp Stamp.
Yeah. He's like a cross between Joe Perry, from Aerosmith,
Sure.
Mick Jones from The Clash, Mick Jones
Okay.
from Foreigner,
All right.
and Nels Cline.
Wow. So like a little experimental.
Yeah,
edge
he's
with
got
that.
he's got chops, but he's also got the weird thing that Nels Cline does too.
What thing?
Just like he'll play with a drill and stuff.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
shocking.
yeah. He really he does this weird thing on Eat Your Pizza, Honey, that he jams like these 2 screwdrivers into the guitar, and then he talks into the pickup. It's weird. Yeah.
What is it? Is that one of the songs you do?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Eat Your Pizza, Honey.
Eat your. What is that?
Oh, come on. Charles Grodin says it.
Oh, in real
Yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys have a song called "Eat Your Pizza."
We
Honey.
do. Yeah, yeah.
He's naming those songs, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny, this space we practice in.
Mm-hmm.
He loves it. It's totally bare bones,
Mm-hmm.
and he wants it to be like as rock as possible.
Okay.
No AC in the summer.
Uh-huh.
No heat in the winter.
Really?
Yeah, we'll have like a couple space heaters. In the we'll just drink beer and stuff. It's great.
And you practice how often?
Like 3 days a week or so.
Every week.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great. It's cool. The local shows have been really good, but
Wait,
we want to take it out a little bit.
You guys play
further.
You guys are playing shows?
Oh yeah,
Tramp Stamp.
yeah.
Like where is a Tramp? Where does that band play?
Like the 930 Club.
In DC.
Yeah, we just opened for Matt and Kim last week.
At the 930
Yeah,
Club.
yeah.
And when people, because this is the strange.
Right.
I've never heard. I follow the president pretty closely.
Sure.
And I'm a fan, and when I've never heard once in all of the minutia of this guy's life that A, he plays guitar,
Right.
and B, that he's in a band called Tramp Stamp,
Right.
and the biggest one of all, that they play out, apparently.
Oh yeah. Well, you wouldn't know about it because he can't just be out there playing as President Barack Obama. He's buzz up on that stage.
Buzz.
Yeah, he has to wear a fake beard and this funky hat when he plays.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he looks almost like he's in the Roots or something. It's crazy.
So there's just a guy on stage with a big hat
Yeah,
and a big beard.
yeah. Not a big beard. I mean, it's tasteful.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tasteful beard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's playing, and
People love it.
people are totally.
No one knows it's him, and
Uh-huh.
they're just kind of grouping to it. It's great.
Can I ask you how Like, how on earth did you get hooked up with Tramp Stamp and with the president?
Oh, well, you know who Rahm Emanuel is, right?
Sure, he's the what is he, the chief of staff?
Chief of staff, yeah. Well, he saw me play a show at the Black Cat a couple times with the Functions, my main band.
Yeah.
We were doing a show opening for the Raining Sound.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really into a lot of the newer garage rock.
Who's that?
Rahm.
Rahm Emanuel.
Oh yeah.
Is a big garage rock fan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and so anyway, he remembered me when when President Obama was looking for some guys to jam with. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'll tell you though, talking about being into garage rock, Rahm is super bummed out.
About what?
He's going to miss Goner Fest.
Rahm Emanuel.
Yeah.
He was going to go to the Goner Records
He's
thing.
still trying to swing it. He's trying to move this summit that he's got with God, what's his name? Who's the guy? He's the president of Iran who looks like a cross between Cat Stevens and Steve Carell.
Oh, what's it? Ahmadinejad?
Ahmadinejad, is that his name?
I'm so bad.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, he's on the phone talking to him, trying to get him to move it, making up these excuses when he wants to go to Goner Fest. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He actually jammed with us once.
Rahm Emanuel.
No, the Cat Stevensy guy. He was in the White House. Like on some kind of head of state kind of business, and what a disaster that was.
How was that a disaster?
Well, you know, it's after the whole function, you know, and everyone's being all presidential, and so we go down, we're jamming a little bit, and he wants to sit in, and he keeps going, "Ready for love, ready for love."
What is he saying?
We don't know what he's saying for half of it, and then finally we realize that he's saying "Ready for Love." He wants to play that.
Ready for Love
by Bad Company.
Yeah.
So, and he plays like remedial keyboards.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't know the song. You know, you hear it on classic rock. You know.
Sure.
So the president gets on the computer and he goes right to Rapid Share. And he downloads the whole Bad Company catalog. And so he downloads it and he sends it to all of us, and we're kind of listening to it.
So the president is just ripping music.
Oh yeah, we call him the Ripper.
I would not imagine that he would just go on Rapid Share.
Oh yeah. He's been doing that for years. Yeah, he was very early on the whole file sharing thing. Yeah, that's why he's never weighed in on it really.
Oh, because he's a big file sharer.
He's the Ripper.
He's the Ripper.
Yeah.
So Buzz Obama.
Yeah.
Likes to rip. So he goes on Rapid Share.
Yeah.
He goes on Rapid Share, grabs the entire Bad Company catalog.
Yeah.
And then,
including like what was it? Desolation Boulevard,
Angels,
whatever. Yeah.
Rock and Roll Fantasy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he's got all of them.
Yeah.
You find Ready for Love.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
We learn it, you know, as best we can. So this Iranian cat, he can't play. He's sub-remedial. Awful. So he's terrible, and like we're just, and Buzz is looking at us like, oh my god, this is awful. So basically, the song kind of peters out, and the president pretends he has diarrhea, and he left.
That is, oh my god.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
It was nuts. Yeah.
So, you guys are playing.
Right.
You're right over there.
Oh yeah. Is there like a window open?
There is.
Like
yeah.
a strong pollen.
It's very constricting.
Element. Yeah.
I know. It's
hard to breathe.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I complain about it every week.
So you were saying what?
Like you guys, you're saying he does all this stuff with screwdrivers and all. Like what is the overall type of music that Tramp Stamp plays?
Well, you know, the president is a little more into the traditional older stuff that he grew up on.
Okay.
He likes some new stuff, but for the most part, he's kind of old school. You know, Stones, Beatles, The Who, Fugazi.
Fugazi.
Like,
that's not exactly old stuff. Fugazi.
Well, yeah, he's into it. You know, just being in D.C., I guess he kind of soaked that up.
Yeah.
Funny story. I'll tell you, man, the president was getting mad at us because we were just not being as tight as we could be. And as a way to get us to buckle down, he gave us this assignment. This is like I don't know, 6 months ago or so. We had to learn In on the Kill Taker in its entirety in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And be able to play it or get fired.
That's pretty intense, because that's a pretty precise
Absolutely, yeah.
album.
Yeah, and what made it even more intense
What's that?
was that Ian and Joe were going to be sitting there watching us.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. They showed up. It was. I was so nervous.
So they went to the White House.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they're watching you
Play their music.
And what was that like?
Well, I gotta say, we acquitted ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We were very good, and afterwards we were kind of riding this high, and we actually broke into this impromptu version of "Screaming at a Wall."
And what did Ian jump on?
Oh yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
He took his shirt off. Buzz took his shirt off. Then we all started taking our shirts off, and we just slammed it. It was great.
So you guys were doing a classic.
Classic Minor Threat. Yeah.
And with that's like the first time I guess Ian would have revisited stuff like that.
I think it was. He said it was the first time he'd sung it in I guess since the final show with the big boys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, that's intense. I had no idea the president had any of these interests.
Oh, absolutely. And I hope I'm not talking out of school here, but I think I can say it. Well, I shouldn't say it.
No, you can't lead it on and then drop it like that.
Okay.
What?
Well, basically, Tramp Stamp is making a record.
Really?
For Discord.
So Obama is gonna be part of the Discord
family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a family.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should be out in 2011. Now I know you probably heard the whole debacle that Discord had with the Michael Jackson thing and his band Punk.
Yeah.
So apparently that's all ironed out and they're back on track. Mm-hmm. And things are looking good. And I know it sounds crazy. I mean, it's not what you think. It's not what you think of when you think of the president.
No, not at all.
No.
None of this. No. This is all shocking to me. You're not pulling my leg on
absolutely
this.
Not. No. And I'll tell you, one thing I've learned through this whole experience with President Obama.
Sure.
The president's way more interesting and way wilder than the layman knows.
Okay.
I mean, it's crazy. These guys, they all had to put forth these middle-of-the-road images so they could get elected. I'm of the people. I'm cut from the same cloth as you.
Yeah. That's part of being a politician on a national
I'm
scale.
every man.
Yeah.
And I will lead you.
Yeah.
But I got to say, to a man, from the stories I've heard about these cats, they're all incredibly out there. It's astounding.
Like, do you have any examples?
Well, like I told you about the room we practice in. This room dates back to McKinley.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. He called it the Respiratorium.
The Respiratorium.
Like you're having a respite.
Sure. So it's a room down deep in the
bowels
of the, I guess,
of the White House.
Well, can you not say the word bowel?
The depths, the basement area.
That's really not one of my
I call
favorite
my bathroom area the basement area sometimes when I'm around children.
Okay, that's your business.
Yeah.
But, so the Respiratorium.
Yep.
Is this room that's been around since McKinley, and what is the point behind the Respiratorium?
Well, you have no idea the pressure that goes along with being a president.
Sure.
It's insane. Can you imagine that every minute of the day, like everything kind of hinges on you?
Yeah, the fate of the world.
It'll drive you insane. So you need a place to go where you can just chill out. There's no one around you. It's your area to do whatever you want to do, anything in, and it keeps you sane.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Doesn't it? Yeah. And I'll tell you, Bush 43 made incredible use of this room.
That's, you're talking about W.
Yeah.
Like, what did he do in the Respiratorium?
Well, I'll tell you what I've heard. The reason he was such a terrible president was because he was in the Respiratorium painting all the time.
Painting?
Yeah, doing art.
Like, what kind of paintings was George W. Bush making?
Well, I gotta tell you, Buzz has shown me a couple things. Insane. So out there. It's like
how?
Total abstract, impressionistic stuff. It's like if Jackson Pollock was even more insane.
George W. Bush is doing this.
Yeah, oh yeah. Lots of those like drip paintings.
Yeah.
But he would use human blood and other bodily fluids. It's crazy stuff.
Ugh.
Oh, it's insane. It's awful. Very disgusting.
Yeah.
It
sounds so he was doing that as like a sort of a way to let off steam.
Absolutely. And some of the, he'd do it under a different name. And some of the stuff actually got sold. And he got this incredibly perverse thrill of having his crap Bible sculpture in a museum that he yanked funding from.
What was the name of the...
Crap Bible. It was a sculpture he did.
I didn't want to know anything about that.
Yeah.
So he made a sculpture, which sounds disgusting, and then put it in a gallery, or what was it, a museum? Or under a different name.
Yeah.
And then pulled the funding of the...
Yeah, even though his crap Bible sculpture was in there.
Because he specifically was offended by something he created,
but he wasn't offended by it. He got like a little
so
joke.
he got like a big laugh out of that.
Exactly. And even weirder was this whole deadly catch thing with him.
What's that?
Did you hear about this?
No.
I guess it really didn't get out there much. Huge Deadliest Catch fan. You know, the TV show where the guys go up to like the Alaskan, the Arctic Circle or something, and they crab. He loved that show so much, he actually went up there and got on it for a week.
He got on the one of the boats.
Exactly, yeah. His stuff never made it into the final cut, though. Yeah. Because of the way he got kicked off.
How did he get kicked off?
Well, he was doing great. He was actually bringing in tons of crabs. But he was a total bully to the other crabbers. And he beat up these two other guys.
George W. Bush did on a crabbing boat.
Yeah. What happened, I guess, was one of the guys used the president's mustard, and Bush went ballistic.
His mustard?
Yeah, he tried to throw the guy in a crab pot and drop it back into the ocean.
Wait, what did he do?
He grabbed the guy, put him back in a crab pot. You know, that's the thing that they bring up, and tried to lower it back down into the
murder.
He tried to kill him. Yeah.
So he tried to murder a guy because he used his mustard.
Yeah, and this other guy tried to help him, and he beat the crap out of that guy too.
And this is just in the...
He got sent home.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is just him letting off steam.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I had no idea. Are there any other ones you know about?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, going back, Clinton. You know how he played sax on Arsenio that night, and like that kind of changed everything in a weird way?
Yeah, because he seemed fun and relatable.
Yeah. He was totally embarrassed by that.
Really?
Yeah. His staff tried to get him to put forth this blues guy,
like Night Train.
Totally,
or
it was like
very
middle of the road, safe, mediocre stuff like that.
Yeah,
because that's what his handlers told him would connect with Middle America.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, what you don't know about that whole thing? His original plan was to go on the show and do a sax battle with James Chance.
James Chance, the New York guy,
kind of like a no wave.
Yeah. So the president wanted to... That's bizarre.
I know.
He was looking to do a sax battle with this kind of avant...
Absolutely, yeah. Skronker.
Skronker.
Yeah. So it was all set up, but then his handlers go, this guy's way too out there. You're going to alienate half of your potential voters if you go out there on national TV and do Contort Yourself.
That's what he wanted to do. From
that's
James
his favorite.
Chance
I guess that's his favorite song.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a Black song or the Contortions. I guess it's a Contortions song.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And this whole thing with Monica Lewinsky, remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that was huge. I mean,
Sure.
the aftermath of that went on forever. It was terrible.
Yes.
But I gotta say, from what I've been told, he was telling the truth.
That
He never had sex with her.
Clinton never had sex
No.
with Monica Lewinsky.
Nope.
Which was the big controversy.
Right. Yeah.
Well, what was the real story behind it?
He was covering for someone.
Who was he covering for?
Iggy.
Iggy Pop Iggy?
Yeah.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
Well, here's what happened. The three of them were in the Oval Office together, and at that point, Clinton was pretty good friends with Iggy, and they're in there one night, and I guess I don't know what they're doing. They're probably just having some fun, and Iggy got a little turned on apparently, and one thing leads to another, and that happened, and I guess they were walking around shirtless.
Who was?
Iggy and Clinton. They would do that.
Because I know I've seen Iggy Pop. Seems like he doesn't.
He gets shirtless like
it seems
like
he
two
doesn't-
seconds into the
seems
first
like
song.
You
Yeah.
wonder whether he owns a shirt.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
So
but Bill Clinton
he
is
got-
usually in a suit
he got Clinton into that, I guess.
to walking around shirtless.
Yeah, he'd whip his shirt off and kind of whip it around, do the circle thing around and
Yeah.
throw it. So Monica's there, and they're going around shirtless, and Iggy gets turned on, I guess, and one like I said, one thing leads to another. And that stuff happened,
So
and basically Clinton knew that Iggy would get in big trouble with Suchi if this got out. So
Suchi was
that was
or is-
Iggy's wife at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he took the blame for it. He took the fall.
So Clinton, to save the rep of
Iggy Pop.
Iggy Pop, said, I did.
Well, he
stuff
couldn't
with
come
this
out and say it.
Yeah.
So, but it was implied, and he made sure it was implied that this happened, and he did it, even though he had it orchestrated that he would not go down for it, which he ended up not really going down for it. But he wanted it known. If anyone did this, it was him, and definitely not Iggy. Iggy was not even there.
So he took a bullet
yeah.
for his buddy,
Yeah.
Iggy Pop.
Yeah.
I've never heard
Yeah,
this.
he's a righteous dude.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, Bush's father, out there also.
How so?
Well, we're talking Herbert Walker. At
Yeah.
this point, 41.
Sure.
Pretty tall guy, right?
Yeah.
His thing was going out at like earlier than 2 a.m. Middle of the night, and getting these really intense street basketball games happening.
George Herbert Walker Bush.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like what? Like half court? Like
Whatever. Sometimes one-on-one. Half court. He'd sometimes get like a full game going. It's crazy. And in some of the worst sections of Northeast DC. He'd go out. He wouldn't even have security guards. It was almost like he had a death wish or something.
So he would duck out
Yeah.
without security.
Nothing.
And go play street ball.
Oh yeah.
And was he? I had no idea he had any interest in that.
Yeah. He won a lot too.
He won. Wow.
Yeah.
You think he'd be too old for that?
He was good. He kept in shape, but he did all this hustling though. He was very much into that, like 3-card monte, dice, whatever kind of street game. He was into it, and he'd bet on it. Oh yeah.
So Bush played 3-card Monte.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and the agents finally put an end to it when this totally bad dude named Hatchett showed up. Yeah. And he had his whole posse there at the White House. It was very embarrassing for everybody, apparently.
What happened with Hatchett?
Well, it turns out that not only was Bush into him for 200 large in gambling debts, he was also muscling in on Hatchett's turf.
So Bush was dealing 3-card Monte.
Well,
or was he owed?
He owed money for gambling losses.
Okay.
But he was also dabbling in pimping.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. He had like 7 girls.
That's crazy.
This is it's documented on official documents that I've seen.
In the
Yeah,
respiratorium?
Buzz has shown me this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it's crazy stuff, and he was also starting to deal also. Yeah, drugs.
Oh my, that George Herbert Walker Bush.
I told you these guys are out there. Like that's how he blew off steam.
So that's how they got over that's how they got over
the intenseness of this job
of being president.
Yeah, he would go out and sell speed.
I've never heard anything so crazy.
Yeah. You know what's even crazier?
What?
Reagan.
I could not even imagine.
Well,
What?
you know the rock band Chicago, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
His favorite band. Yeah. And like to most people, Chicago is very middle of the road, right?
Sure.
Like it's not anything even like, I mean, it's so minor that you just don't even think
like
about
adult
it.
contemporary
Inoffensive.
kind of
But to him, these guys were like rocking. These guys were like cats.
For an old guy.
Totally. Yeah. So he ends up summoning them to the White House in like '83 or something, and he'd become really good friends after this visit with their trombonist, Jimmy Pankow.
The trombonist in Chicago.
He's still in the band. There's only I think there's 4 guys left. All the brass guys and the keyboard player.
Jimmy Pankow.
Yeah. And so Reagan becomes super tight with this guy. And he eventually feels like he has to start running everything by him. Like finding him on tour. You know, like he's in Des Moines. Reagan's on the phone with him trying to get him to take a break during a song, like to get off stage so he can run by some sort of, you know, policy decision by him.
By the trombonist for Chicago.
It's crazy. I know, it's nuts. And like, remember when that whole astrology thing came out, where it turned out that
Nancy Reagan thing,
that she was she had to consult her astrologist and on government issues. Total smokescreen
for the guy from.
They figured anything would look better than the fact that Reagan was running everything by the trombonist from Chicago. Yeah.
Wow.
Iran-Contra? It was this guy's idea.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So Jimmy Pankow, the trombonist for Chicago, was making major political decisions.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. You know what's even weirder?
What's that?
Well, it's not as weird, but Reagan used to call into the Howard Stern show when Howard Stern was in D.C. A lot. Yeah.
That's... He
loved that thing, you know, where it's like the 15th caller gets whatever Hall & Oates tickets. He had that down to a science. He would leave. He figured out how to time it.
And he's doing this from that room.
Oh yeah, but he would leave cabinet meetings to go do that. Yeah.
So he'd walk out of a cabinet meeting.
Yeah. Excuse me. Or however he would talk. You know, and he would come back maybe 10 minutes later with Hall & Oates tickets.
Because he would go to the respiratorium, call up, and try to win.
Yeah, this is he'd say this is Rod from California. Yeah,
and he'd win tickets and.
Well, he'd win anything. And it's interesting, when he left the White House, they found this whole treasure trove of radio station memorabilia that he'd won over the years, like visors, sweatshirts, that sort of thing. Mobiles, you know, there's like he had this big REO Speedwagon one that he won. And stuff like unused Hall & Oates tickets.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
so that's what he did.
That's what he did. That's how he blew off steam. Yeah. And Carter. This is very interesting. You know how he had that rep as being super folksy and down to earth.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, like this guy could do no wrong.
Sure.
You know, not everyone loved how he performed his duties, but
everybody, he's an
super
honorable
nice guy.
man. Yes.
Like the nice grand.
Yeah, a lot of people say he was too good a man for the job.
Yeah, loved to scare people, especially children.
I don't know what do you mean by that?
Well, he was always doing this stuff where he would jump out of alleys or closets or something, just scaring people to death.
Like on the street?
A lot in the White House, sometimes on the street. You know how they this is interesting. You know how they'll give presidents nicknames, like the security people? Like the Falcon is
Yeah.
leaving. You
Yes,
know, that's where
sure,
the
sure.
Eagle at 12 o'clock or whatever. Carter's name was Damien.
Why would his name be Damien?
Because he would go to these midnight showings of The Omen at this theater in Georgetown, and at the scariest part of the film, he'd actually get a copy of the film first, brought to the White House. He'd learn where all the scary parts were in advance, like all horror movies.
I know a lot of times they have these screenings,
Private screenings, yeah.
for presidents.
Yeah. So he'd find out when the scariest thing was, and he would duplicate that scene. He would run into the theater dressed as the character that it was happening to or who was doing it, and scare the crap out of everybody. But no one knew it was him because he had a mask on or something.
That's
you know?
horrible.
He was sick, and he'd also pretend to choke to death at cabinet meetings.
Just to scare everybody.
Yeah. Like they thought he died like 8 times. He's a sick F. Yeah.
That's horrible.
Also loved punk rock and new wave.
I didn't know. Like, who did he like?
Well, like, remember this whole thing when Hamilton Jordan, who was one of his aides, got in trouble for going to Studio 54, like, and possibly cocaine was involved?
Sure.
What you don't know about that night is that Carter was at CBGB's watching the Stimulators.
The same night.
Yeah. It's funny. He actually remained very good friends with Harley Flanagan, who was the drummer for the Stimulators. He was like 13 at the time. Went on to be in the Cro-Mags.
So wow. So a lot of these presidents have these
weird rock and roll connections. Yeah. They're all rockers, basically. You know, I mean, they're kind of like rock stars if you think about it.
Yeah,
you know? I'm sure that's how they think of themselves.
Well, that's crazy about Carter.
Yeah. Ford.
Gerald Ford.
Nuts. Yeah.
Well, what was his?
It's not really nuts. It shows he might have been our most talented president in a way. Yeah.
How so?
Well, it's never really been made public ever, but Ford was a staff writer for several mid-'70s TV sitcoms.
Really?
Yeah, under the name Glenn Calabash.
So, if I'm watching the credits on a show, and I see the name Glenn Calabash come up,
2 N's.
Yeah. That's Gerald Ford.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, what shows did he write on?
Chico and the Man, CPO Sharkey, Alice, and a couple others. Do you remember the show called Hot L Baltimore?
Yes.
Very short-lived show.
Sure. Yeah.
1975. It was like a hotel that was
like a crummy.
Had seen better days.
Sure.
Yeah. So it lasted 1 season, and that was his baby, and he was very upset that didn't happen. But that was during his presidency, also.
When you say it's his baby, what do you mean?
He created it.
He created that show.
Yeah, and wrote most of that season. Yeah.
But how was he president at the same time?
That's the issue. He was not a great president because he all these guys get obsessed, and it's just a shame that they're not obsessed with the presidency by the time they're halfway into it. They get obsessed with these other things.
Yeah,
you know. So, and people think that the reason he tanked the election that he lost to Carter was just because he didn't have it. Like he wasn't good at it. He was actually pretty good at being president, but he was just excited about this new project that he had, a TV show that he said, if this thing gets greenlit, I'm actually not even going to try hard at all.
Like, I want
to get elected.
He was more focused on the show.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Blansky's Beauties.
That was like
It was like a spin-off of Happy Days. Basically, it was someone's aunt from the show.
Okay.
And it took place at current time, 1976 or 7. Alice Walker was the star of it.
Okay.
Yeah. And it bombed.
And he was...
By this point, he'd already lost the election, or he was already down the tubes. So he's banking now on Blansky's Beauties being huge, and it tanked. Yeah. So
is that where his dreams of that ended?
Not really. He had one more thing, and this was it was left out of his memoir. The greatest indignity that he suffered in his entire life was he ended up having to write for a season of Carter Country.
Wow, that would be an indignity that he is the guy who defeated him,
ends up getting a sitcom, not about him, but in
there's
his
still-
name.
Exactly, a show that
Yeah.
has his name in it, and
Exactly.
he's a staff writer.
Yeah, and
on
he
it.
got fired eventually. Yeah. Every episode that he wrote ended up with Carter getting shot by this crazy hillbilly woman named Lynette from Squeaksville, which of course is, you know,
squeaky.
exactly.
Foam,
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy about Ford.
It is. Yeah. Nixon was weird too.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't really take that much advantage of the Respiratorium. What happened with him was on a campaign stop once, when he was going for a second term, he stopped at a Burger King for like a photo op. You know, and
Sure.
he gets behind the counter and gets by the fryer.
Yeah.
And you know,
they always do those.
Exactly,
things,
like
yeah.
he's flipping burgers.
Uh-huh.
He fell in love with that.
Oh my! With being behind the counter.
At a fast food restaurant.
Uh-huh.
Like it wasn't like, oh, we'll just make burgers at the White House. It was like, no, I am going to work at a McDonald's. So they got him a gig at McDonald's. He had to wear like some weird like chin putty and stuff, and he didn't
like
look
a
like himself.
DC McDonald's.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Nixon would work at a McDonald's.
Well, he eventually became a shift manager. He was writing schedules out and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling.
You know what's even more mind-boggling?
What's that?
He voiced a lot of those Hanna-Barbera cartoons. He was a voice for a lot of those things.
Like, is there any specific ones you know of?
Yeah. What I've heard, McGill Gorilla. He
He was the voice of McGilla Gorilla.
yeah. I mean, not under his own name. Yeah.
Nixon.
Yeah.
Did the voice.
Uh-huh.
I can't hear that. as being him.
I know. I don't know, but that's I've seen.
But those voice
I've
guys
seen the
are
proof of it, yeah.
impressive like that.
He also did several of the Herculoids.
Uh-huh.
Scrimpy Doo.
What's Scrimp? I've never heard of Scrimpy.
Very short-lived character on Scooby Doo.
I know Scrappy.
Yeah, there was Scrappy Doo.
Yeah.
There was Scooby Doo.
Uh-huh. What is Scrimpy Doo? Because it sounds like something that you're on it. You're not teasing me.
This is absolutely true. I've seen it.
Scrimpy
Yeah,
Doo.
Scrimpy Doo
Uh-huh.
was Scooby's insanely frugal step-nephew.
So he was like, he'd scrimp and save.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it just didn't connect with anybody. Let's see. He was also Sergeant Blast and Private Meekly,
On
the Wacky Racers.
I can't. I have to go watch some of these.
Yeah.
things
Oh, yeah.
Again.
Yeah. And he even continued after he left office.
He kept.
It was crazy. Yeah. He kept doing voices. Nothing huge though, but his biggest one post presidency was the Grape Ape.
The one that's like Grape Ape.
Grape Ape.
That's
yeah,
Nixon.
Yeah. That's Nixon. Yeah. Nobody knows this stuff though. Yeah. You know what? Nobody knows also.
What's that?
Johnson's his whole deal.
What? LBJ.
Yeah.
This
Guy's like a serious. He was a serious.
Sure,
dude.
he was like
kind
a
of
tough guy.
Like, totally.
Like,
yeah. Loved funny cars.
You mean like the souped up?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So much so that during his presidency, he apprenticed under Big Daddy Roth.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Like with those crazy.
Crazy muscle cars.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that would get like revamped and everything, and basically he wanted his own muscle car shop.
LBJ.
Yeah, that's why he decided. He did the whole thing was I elect to not
run in '68.
seek or accept my party's nomination.
Sure.
He didn't want to be president. That's for sure, because he wanted to have his own shop, and also he wanted to do this. He pitched a show to CBS that they totally didn't get, balked on. 35 years or so later, it's the exact same concept as Pimp My Ride.
That would have been in the late '60s.
This would have been like 68 or 9? Yeah.
So LBJ pitches a show.
Yeah.
He says it should be. He wants it to be like. It turned to what became.
Same exact concept. I'm going to take someone's, crappy car,
Sure.
and turn it into this hot rod.
Uh-huh.
You know, he actually did this for several people. He was really good at it. He actually pimped a Pontiac GTO for Bob Cousy.
From the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what did he do? Anything specific to it that you know of?
Well, yeah, it had it had like a little bar in it. It had a slide projector. I mean, this is back then.
Yeah.
You know, he couldn't swing even like a Super 8 projector.
So it's like the equivalent of like a DVD player and a thing now.
Yeah,
He had
but
a
it was
slide
slides.
projector.
Yeah. Even had a makeshift toilet in it.
For Bob Cousy.
Yeah. Apparently, Cousy had flagrant. I
you
can't say that.
No,
I'm sorry.
no.
Okay. Yeah. You know, Kennedy. He wasn't very creative with the
JFK.
with the Respiratorium.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He actually shut it down.
JFK shut down this.
He didn't really have any use for it. Yeah. He did. He did the stuff that he liked to do. Wherever he wanted to do it. Yeah.
And what was that?
He loved to have meaningful and pleasurable exchanges with the fair sex.
Oh, okay, so that was not his. So he was not into the Respiratorium.
No, he was into having meaningful and pleasurable exchanges with the fair sex, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
I've seen some pictures.
Okay.
I've seen some movies.
It's, please.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. Eisenhower,
Uh-huh.
pretty straight-laced guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's he's an officer in the armed forces.
Yeah, yeah.
Huge wrestling fan.
Like that kind of 50s wrestling?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, like when that stuff was super happening.
Yeah.
And basically he would wrestle other heads of state at these grand galas that they had at the White House. He'd even have like special trunks made for them with sequins and stuff and their names across the back. Yeah. He'd also suggest that the wives wrestle in front of him.
Oh, that's
Kind of
odd.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he got so into it that he started training with Killer Kowalski, who was like a big time show wrestler at that time. And he got so into it that he would eventually start flying down to Mexico, and he became one of those masked wrestlers, that like a Mexican wrestler.
Really?
El Presidente.
This is Eisenhower.
Yeah.
So he's wrestling in Mexico.
Yeah.
With a mask on.
Yeah, he killed.
He was like great at it.
No, he killed 2 guys, at least.
What do you mean he killed?
He killed them. He lost them in the ring, and then he ended up killing them later.
It's horrible.
I know, yeah, but they could never arrest him for it because he'd buy off the cops. Yeah. Wilson, Woodrow Wilson.
Sure.
He's out there too. Yeah. Loved to draw dirty pictures.
What do you mean?
Nothing awful, but they definitely bordered on what we would refer to as pornography.
That he would draw.
Yeah. He even had this erotic, I guess you'd call it a fanzine.
Really?
Yeah, it's called The Continuing and Perverted Adventures of Staff Sergeant Dirty Leg.
I don't even know what.
I don't know. I've seen it. It's crazy.
What was the title of that again? It's that pollen.
No, I dropped my pencil.
You're right.
Yeah, it was called The Continuing and Perverted Adventures of Staff Sergeant Dirty Leg.
And that's like a character he made up.
Yeah. It's pretty gross. He did like 730 issues of it.
So it was like a dirty comic book or something that they sold, like, because a lot of that stuff was kind of like they sold it in like, back rooms and stuff. So he drew one of those.
Well, and he was so good at it that he would get hired by other magazines to draw dirty pictures too.
Oof. I did not know about any of
Crazy,
this.
yeah. No, it's amazing, and Buzz shows me all this stuff. It's amazing.
Buzz has the stuff handy.
Well, I mean, he's president. He has this stuff.
So all of these guys, they leave the thing for the next. They leave.
Apparently
the thing,
so. Yeah, it's
to
like
say.
Yeah. And it's like a weird perk of getting to play in the band with him. Oh my God, hang on. This is actually him now. What up, Buzz? Right, yeah. Hey, guess where I am? No, come on. No, come on, get serious. I'm at FMU. Seriously, yes. It's pretty cool. Yeah, huh? No, it's just some idiot. He's got to be some kind of fill-in or something. He's a total amateur.
Wait, what?
It has to. No, I'm pretty sure it's the first time he's ever been on radio. Just judging by his tone and everything, he's very nervous.
I'm not nervous.
Oh, should I? All right, hang on. Let me see if I can keep you on and do this. All right, hang on.
What are you doing?
Just taking a.
Wait, why are you taking a picture of me?
He wants to see what you look like.
Don't take a. Okay, you took a picture of me.
There we go.
And what are you doing with it?
Okay, hang on. What address? Should I send it to buzzguitar99 at Hotmail? Okay, cool. Hang on.
You're sending the picture of me
I just did, yeah.
to the president.
All right, I sent it. You got it? Okay. What do you think he looks like? Oh, good one. Oh, that is brutal. Oh, that is brutal, Buzz. He says, hang on. He says you look like if a giant rat that never bathed had a weird half ape, half party machine sewn onto his neck, and then someone threw up on all of it.
That's what he thinks I look like.
He does, yeah. The president is so good at burns.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's hurtful.
Well. Hey, what are you drinking, Buzz? Sipping that gin and... Oh, just water. I'm sorry. I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Buzz. I'm sorry, Mr. President. I went too far. I'm sorry about that. Right. Okay. No, of course not. I would never tell him anything like that.
Tell what?
I didn't. I swear to you, I did not tell him anything about the presidents. Any of that stuff that you told me in confidence. You know I'd never do that. Okay, well, I'll see you at practice tomorrow. Okay. All right, take care, Mr. President. Goodbye.
You wouldn't tell him what?
Basically everything I told you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you have to delete all that, okay, that we talked about.
What do you mean?
You have to delete this.
How? I can't.
When the show actually runs.
Well, no, the show is running live.
What? No.
Yeah. What do you? Well, how do you think? What do you think I'm doing in here?
I thought you were. Well, I thought it was a bathroom at first.
Uh-huh.
And then I just figured you were taping it because you make all these mistakes. I figured you just fix them or something because there's no way this is going out on,
this
on
is
air
live.
because you're
Of course this is-
stammering all the time.
No, I'm not. This is live. You just said all of that stuff on the radio.
Oh my God.
What, are you in trouble now?
How many people listen to your show? I know FMU's big, but it
Lot of
seems like
people.
you probably would get like 4 listeners.
No. A lot of people.
Oh my God, do you see that?
What is that? Is that a chopper?
It's 3 choppers.
They're landing in the parking
Oh my
lot.
God. Somebody was monitoring this, I guess,
Uh-huh.
and I have to bail.
Are they here?
I have
They're
to
here
bail.
for
I have
you.
to bail Earth.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta.
Wow.
Delete this.
I can't delete it. It happened.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh man.
Hey, stop it.
When I get nervous, I have to pee.
No, get out. It's not a bathroom.
No!
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.